Oh, Sour Bob. Bob did an interview where he questions the mental state of Terrence Bud Crawford, basically saying he doesn't know how he'll do against Spence due to Terrence Bud Crawford mental state. This is straight hilarious. And in the interview, he looked as sour as ever. And that's funny coming from a guy that told Errol Spence that the best thing that he can do is stay away from Terrence Bud Crawford. This is one of the reasons why Terrence Bud Crawford, he left Bob Arum, because Bob Arum has always took the opportunity to downplay Terrence Crawford and basically not show his worth. And even if you feel that way, you don't trash your fighter to the world. And Bob Arum has constantly done that. So when you see comments like this, it's not shocking. Bob hates not to be involved in any big fights. Bob is greedy as hell. But to question Terrence Bud Crawford mental state makes absolutely no sense. I guess he's trying to put it as if Terrence Bud Crawford is sweating his lawsuit over Bob Arum. I think Bob Arum mental state isn't good. I think he just trying to put on Terrence Crawford what's going on with him. He had to give up Oscar Valdez, loses Terrence Bud Crawford. Bob Arum ain't happy about that shit. That's why he ain't sit up there in between Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez. Bob Arum is sick with it. And the funny thing is, Terrence Bud Crawford is the last person whose mentality, whose mental you need to question at all, versus a guy who just got off a car crash and has been questioned whether he is the same fighter. And this is the funny thing. If you go watch, I believe Errol Spence special with Brian Custer, if you watch that, you will know that Errol Spence is pretty much done with boxing. He said something in an interview that was key, and he said about being ready to move on with his life, but he didn't want to teach his daughters or be an example for his daughters as quitting something, So he said one of the main reasons why he's doing what he's doing is so he can set an example for his daughters and, what he thinks about quitting, which lets you know that Errol Spence is ready to retire, which is why he's shooting for the Terrence Bud Crawford fight right now, because Errol Spence want to be done with boxing. Mentally, he's done with boxing. If you watch that interview, that's exactly what you'll get out of it, because he hints at quitting, but not wanting to do it because he wanted to set a better example for his daughter. So if anybody's mental needs to be questioning in this scenario, it's Errol Spence. And Bob Arum knows that. Bob Arum is just out there still throwing dirt. And it just doesn't make no sense at the end of the day. But Bob Arum has no business promoting certain fighters because of this very thing right here. Who would want to sign with somebody who's more than likely to trash you in front of the world? And this is the thing, you're just not trashing anybody. You're trashing the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. That's also, well, at least at that time, was your fighter. Who does that? Who does that? And this is the thing, Bob Arum act like he made a whole bunch of money off Vasily Lomachenko. He didn't. And he hasn't, period. He wasn't able to turn Lomachenko into no pay-per-view star at all. As much as biggest praise is all that hype, and then that's the other thing. Every time he was supposed to be promoting Terrence Bud Crawford, he was promoting Vasily Lomachenko. Same thing. But Vasily Lomachenko ain't racked in no big ass numbers or nothing like that. What he don't tell you is the money that he lost on Vasily Lomachenko. That's what's not brought up. But, Bob Arum basically loses his footing with Vasily Lomachenko, especially since they couldn't get that Kambosos fight because of, you know, whatever Vasily Lomachenko has done, and Vasily Lomachenko has already taken his loss. He's lost Terrence Bud Crawford, you know what I'm saying? And he's given up one of his fighters to another fighter who basically he doesn't even value when it comes to boxing. So to me, about this Oscar Valdez Shakur Stevenson fight, Bob Arum look at that like he's hustling backwards. Bob Arum wouldn't trade in Oscar Valdez for no Shakur Stevenson, because Bob Arum thinks on a color-coded line, and he's always looking to appeal to certain demographics. Once again, let me keep reiterating this. This is why he had a problem with UFC, simply because he said, and I quote, "They're taking all the white fans." You have never heard a promoter basically single out an entire demographic and worry about if they leave boxing or not. He's not worried about any other demographic, but he was worried about that one. That just goes to show you how he thinks and what his mentality is. And that's why somebody like Terrence Bud Crawford basically don't need to be with somebody like Bob. And not just that. Even if Bob wanted to promote Terrence Crawford like he should, they still don't know how to promote, because they couldn't promote Vasily Lomachenko to put him in a position to be the superstar that he was supposed to be. He got superstar status and praise, but not superstar status in reality, because Vasily Lomachenko was all that. Vasily Lomachenko was supposed to have been on pay-per-view. Leave it up to them the way they talk about him. He should have been a pay-per-view star. You got all these high praises and everybody loving you, and he's the Matrix, and this guy is the next Ali and all this other stuff, but yet no pay-per-view status at all. Matter of fact, the first time he graced pay-per-view was with Teofimo Lopez, and I think maybe Luke Campbell, but that was on DAZN. But was Teofimo Lopez. You know, a young guy starting out. That's the only reason why that fight was the way it was. But it wasn't because of Vasily Lomachenko. Period. So Bob Arum is just sour as always. And even still in this situation, he seems to be throwing dirt. And to question Terrence Bud Crawford mental is just preposterous. Especially over the person that he's fighting. That don't make no fucking sense at all. But this is why Bob Arum ain't shit. This is why everybody that's with Bob, leave Bob. And to add on top of that, he don't do nothing but rob people. From Ali all the way to Pacquiao. That's how long Bob Arum has been fucking fighters over. Because one thing's for sure, regardless of who he's promoting and who he's not promoting, he's robbed everybody he's robbed everybody that signed a contract with him. And that's a fact. So at the end of the day, man, Bob just sour, and Bob don't like being left out on shit. And Bob is money hungry at the end of the day. And he always want to be in the mix of shit. And this time he's forced to do something that he doesn't want to do to save face, to due to the fact of how his mentality is when it comes to running business over there at Top Rank. So you shouldn't be surprised the old sour ass Bob has comments like these. And that's exactly why he's in the situation he's in right now. And that's exactly why he got that long ass face. So it is what it is at the end of the day. It's time for Bob to ask to retire, or basically, you know, it's time for Bob ass to retire. Point blank and period. We don't need him no more. You know what I'm saying? He's no good for boxing. You know, he's just full of shit at the end of the day. And like I said, with a promoter that does something like that, why the fuck would you even sign with this guy? But that's my thoughts on that. I'm out.